Hello everyone. My name is Asa Garrett. If you guys do not know, well, you should know this is my blog. And sorry I have not been able to keep in contact with you guys for a while. The last 3 weeks of the summer camp was pretty intense. On the fourth week we had our first tournament. Sad to say that we lost in the tournament championship. And the next week following that, the fifth week, same thing, tournament. Again, we lost in the championship by this time by a kick. It's pretty heartbreaking. And then on the last week, I had finals. I had to do a 5-page paper and a PowerPoint. But I wanted to come back and just recap about my experience and you know, show you guys what it's been into. So I grew the most, I guess, in my own personal development. Uh, I wasn't able to really sit down. Like when I'm at home, my mom usually tells me to do it, and I remember to do it. But in college, I didn't have my mom over my shoulder. I barely even talked to my mom. I talked to her like the week before I went back for the 4th of July and the last week. That was the only 2 times I talked to my mom. And I had to, keep everything in mind. I had to remember to go to practice. I had to remember to go to work. I had to remember to do my homework, study, all that. And that I felt like I developed my own study skills. That's where I think I made the most improvement. Also in my social skills, just getting, living with people is totally different. I've already said that before, and it was pretty intense. Um, Another thing, my favorite part of the 6 weeks, uh, I would have to say was the freedom. I mean, there's no other way I could put it. There's no way I could explain it. The freedom of choice, the freedom that I get to choose whether or not I want to go to work. Now, was it a good choice or a bad choice? Was totally opposite. Like, there's always consequences for the choices you make, but as one of the rugby mates I had said, college is all about your choices, and then with your choices come the consequences. So, the complete freedom to walk out at night, go get me something to eat, to walk to the beach, you know, that's my favorite part. I'm not used to doing that. I'm back at home and I still gotta follow by my mom's rules. When I was in Santa Barbara, it was my own rules. Um, in my rugby area, like if I was to evaluate my study, my rugby, and my work ethics, and give myself a grade as if I was a teacher, my coach, and my boss, study, I would give myself a B, B plus, shooting for A minus, because there were some days where I would put the work on the table and then just walk away from it. It wouldn't be till like the very last minute before I'm tired. Like, all right, I gotta buckle down. I gotta do this. Even though I still ended up doing it, I could have knocked it out way before I had to force myself. I should have just knocked it out and have more free time. Instead, me doing that cut off most of my time with my teammates, most of the time with my 360, most of the time in me sleeping. Rugby, I would have to give myself an A. Like people said, I moved faster. I worked better as a teammate. You know, with the ethics that the coaches were teaching us. I felt that I learned it and applied it in every situation in the game. I wish I would have applied it better so we could have won, but still, it's the effort that counts, and I have to give myself. I'll give myself an A. My work, to be honest, I have to give myself a B plus. I mean a B or a B minus. Because when you first start off working, it was so grand. I mean, even though it was tedious, I was like, you know what, this is paying for my trip. Came third week when I went home and I had to come back. I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling this. This is not me. I don't like this. I don't ever want to do this again. Fourth week, I'm like, oh my god, let this be over with. The fifth week, I'm like, someone shoot me. This is ridiculous. On the last week, I was just like, oh my god, I can't do this no more. Like one day at work, I literally went to a little corner, scrubbed off of some of it, got my little section done, sat down, pulled out a drawing book, and just started drawing. When the boss came around, I had to put it down and start working, but I couldn't do it. Everyone else was feeling me. I started showing up later and later to work, even though it wasn't like an hour late. I'll show up like 3 minutes, 5 minutes late, 7 minutes late. But yeah, I had to give myself a B. this camp really did prepare me for college. Like the freedom I had to, it's kind of funny. It's the freedom I had to overcome. Like me overcoming that freedom, me having to, you know, persevere, me having to face, some personal problems and some family problems, relationship problems. It was just me building on top of me. And this college, like, that's how college is going to be. It's just going to be me and maybe a support group, just pushing on. And I felt that I pushed on strong enough. Some days I did cave, some days I just didn't feel like doing anything, but you know what? In the end, I persevered. And yeah, that was my total experience. Any more questions, email me. I hope it works on it. Yep.